Well, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to Rahu in Krittika nakshatra. And what happens when Rahu, the north node of the moon, is sitting in the nakshatra of Krittika in your horoscope? And Krittika nakshatra occurs between 26.40 degrees of Aries to 10 degrees of Taurus. So if it's in any one of these placements in Aries or Taurus, then you have Rahu in Krittika nakshatra, meaning the constellation of Krittika. Think of nakshatras as these wheels behind zodiac sign that make the zodiac sign move, that make the zodiac sign perform. Okay. Now, obviously, if you do not know, if you have Rahu in this nakshatra, what padha it's in, all your other planetary placements, their nakshatra positions, all that good stuff. For that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, Aspects, and Mahadashas at the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So, Rahu in Krittika nakshatra. See, Krittika is a nakshatra, number one, ruled by Sun. It is a nakshatra that is actually about purification of ourselves. Because Agni, fire, is an element that signifies God. That signifies the creation of God, because everything was created through fire. And fire shows the purification of the soul. Krittika is also symbolized by a hatchet or a knife or a blade, which shows the sharp edge of this nakshatra. That's what it really personifies. The sharp edge, meaning that it is black or white. There's no gray. And if there's gray, they'll cut it out. Krittika is a nakshatra that represents to cut, to criticize, to eliminate. Because what happens when you cut and you edit something, you eliminate it. Like in film editing, when you cut a scene, the middle part just gets out and you connect the two scenes together. And there's a whole lot of details on this Krittika nakshatra which I won't go to. I've gone enough in those. But see, Rahu, you gotta understand, especially the whole sign, the entire sign of Aries, is controlled by Sun. The entire sign of Aries is controlled by Sun. Why? Because Sun, like pretty much the Aries sign is all about fire and the qualities of the Sun, because Krittika or Ashwani is a nakshatra where Sun is exalted. Bharani is a nakshatra of the son of Sun. Krittika is a nakshatra ruled by Sun. And then Rahu does not really like Sun, because Sun actually told on Rahu, because he was sitting in the middle of Sun and Moon to get the nectar. So in the first 10 degrees of Taurus, when Rahu moves back, because Rahu is an energy that moves back, and Rahu personifies our desires, our ambitions, our obsessions. It's what we are here and born to gain. The experiences that we are here to get, something which we're not expert in. So remember that key thing about Rahu. Rahu is quite immature about where it is in your chart. Although Rahu is not immature in anything, but for you, your Rahu represents where you're just trying to explore it. You don't know where you are. What are you doing? What am I doing in this sign of Taurus and with Rahu here? What am I supposed to gain? That's what Rahu represents. So Taurus side of Krittika nakshatra represents the fire of luxury, the fire of passion, the fire of compassion, the fire of wanting to be bonding with this world. Why? Because Krittika, being in Taurus, is ruled by Venus. Venus is all about wanting to gather things, wanting to love things, wanting to possess things. Venus is the god of the Asuras. Venus shows Asuras how to build things, how to maintain the material world. So very important. Rahu in this Krittika nakshatra, He is very fired up to attain everything that it can. So Rahu in Krittika nakshatra will make a person focus towards its material desires, its material ambitions, and they will cut through everything to attain that. Whether they have to cheat, whether they have to manipulate, whether they have to go under the table to achieve their goals. But that's what they do. They want to create Venusian energy to gain their material possession, because Venus is about relationships, right? So here Rahu can be like, okay, maybe if I'm with this person, I can attain more. And that fire of Krittika says that, okay, you just need to cut all these things out to achieve that thing. And once they achieve it, that's not enough for Rahu. Rahu wants more, 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 more. So here the fire grows, fire grows, fire grows. So this is why this is Rahu, when comes into the nakshatra of Krittika and activates Krittika nakshatra, it creates an uncontrollable fire. Uncontrollable fire of material desire. Obviously the padha of this Rahu will change the course of this nakshatra. This also shows these people get into quite a bit of scandals themselves. Whether it's scandal related to politics, their work, relationships. Because Rahu is the planet that just does not think about the consequences. You gotta remember that Rahu does not think about consequences. It simply needs to achieve its goal. That's it. My job is now holding a sword, me Rahu, and I'm just cutting through everything to achieve my goal. I don't care who's in front of me. I'm just gonna achieve it. That's it. So this becomes a very powerful position for somebody who may go into like banking, stockbroker, somebody who can go towards like being in sales. They don't care who they're selling to. They don't care what they're doing. They just need to get that goal of that material gain, that check. But Rahu moves back and comes into the sign of Aries. The fire, Aries, the fire, has this fiery nakshatra. And here Rahu in the first padha will most definitely make a person a very anger-filled person, somebody who has this military goals and mentality, like I need to conquer. Because now it becomes Mars in Aries, right? Rahu is a chameleon planet. This is very important with Rahu Ketu. Whichever nakshatra they're in, whichever sign they're in, they become those things. So now it's in the nakshatra of Sun. The ego overblows, like I am the one. It's in the zodiac sign of Aries. I am the one to conquer you. So here a person will be all about how do I conquer things? How do I they get into this military mode. So you'll see like a lot of generals, soldiers, marines, cops being in this Krittika nakshatra. They have the ability to hold the sword and kill. But also, when it comes to politics, when it comes to government affairs, this is the Rahu that is very cutthroat. This is the politician who will not budge for a second, and they will presume the fire of war upon the other person, upon the other country, upon the opponent. Because it's that uncontrollable, like when they get angry, when a general or the president or prime minister gets angry with this Rahu in this nakshatra, they want to unleash fire. And what is one of the way you unleash fire in a war? Dropping bombs, missiles. So in especially on the Aries side, this person has to watch their anger. I actually was remembering doing my study 2 years ago on murders. People who are serial killers, murderers. Actually, I found quite a bit of them with Rahu and Krittika nakshatra. Because when they get angry, when you make them mad, they're not able to control the fire. And because they're holding a weapon, they will unleash that fire and they will cut with that weapon, which is to kill that person. But here, Rahu, especially depending upon what kind of conjunction or aspect it has, this is a person who is very good in being creative in fields of cooking, culinary arts, somebody who's very good in film editing. Why? Think about it. Rahu is this unusual energy, right? Taboo. Rahu is a taboo planet. It likes to go against the social norms of society. So imagine this is what Rahu is. And if I was to draw a picture of Rahu, imagine everybody holding black umbrella. And Rahu represents umbrella. So everybody in a rainy day in a park are holding black umbrella. Rahu will be the one holding the red umbrella. This one red umbrella among the black umbrellas represents Rahu. He's like, I need to be unique, I need to be different, I need to go against the social norm that is around me. So social norms is just buy a black umbrella, just blend in with the crowd. Rahu's like, I don't want to blend in the crowd. I need to stand out. So when they do creative things, when they use knife to cook, boy, they can create some of the most unique, amazing dishes for you. These are the people with Rahu and Krittika nakshatra. If you are in cooking, you can actually become a 3 Michelin star restaurant chef, making $500,000 a year easily. Because you provide uniqueness. You're not the person who, okay, I learned this from my teacher of cooking. This is how you cook it, and this is what I'm presenting to you. That's it. Rahu's not going to let you do that. Rahu's going to, okay, why don't you add this to it? Why don't you add that to it? Why don't you burn it with a fire? And they love, and especially like they have the ability with Rahu and Krittika nakshatra to be in circus. You know the people who take fire in their mouth? Especially if Rahu is in the second house. In the Krittika nakshatra, they are the ones who take the fire in their mouth for performing. Because Rahu is a great performer. It's a natural salesman. He's a Maya Karka. So obviously that's illusion, and that, you know, you think that, oh my God, they're gonna get burned, but Rahu has his tricks and techniques. So one thing, definitely a suggestion in both of the sign of Aries and Taurus is to obviously control yourself, because if you don't, then that lust or that fire, that anger will grow and grow and uncontrollably growing. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis of Rahu and Krittika nakshatra. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you want to know where your Rahu is placed, all your other planet placement, my books, reports, consultation, for that, click here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.